I still remember the first time I tried this. I added 1 cup of fermented wood ash liquid to a struggling garden bed, not expecting much. Within days the plants shifted, leaves darkened, growth exploded, stems thickened. It felt like I had flipped a switch in the soil. And yet, almost nobody talks about this method. You won't see it pushed by fertilizer companies. You won't hear it taught in garden centers. In fact, many sources quietly warn against wood ash altogether. So why does this ancient fertility trick work so well, and why has it been labeled dangerous, outdated, or quietly ignored? Let's break it down, Soilpower style. You know, wood ash isn't waste. It's actually concentrated mineral energy. When wood burns, carbon and volatile compounds disappear into the air, but the minerals stay behind. What's left is a fine gray powder packed with potassium, calcium, phosphorus, magnesium, and dozens of trace elements that plants really crave. Potassium alone plays a massive role in plant growth. It regulates water movement, strengthens cell walls, improves flowering and fruiting, and boosts disease resistance. Calcium supports root development and soil structure. Trace minerals activate enzymes and microbial processes. In nature, forests recycle ash constantly through wildfires and slow decomposition. Crops evolved in soils shaped by ash cycles. The problem isn't ash, it's how we use it. Raw ash can be harsh. Fermented ash is something entirely different. Fresh wood ash is alkaline and fast-acting. Used incorrectly, it can spike soil pH and damage roots. That's why most gardening advice stops at be careful or don't use it at all. But fermentation transforms ash from a blunt tool into a precision instrument. When ash is soaked and fermented in water, especially with living microbes from compost, leaf mold, or forest soil, several important things happen. Soluble minerals stabilize, harsh alkalinity softens, nutrients become chelated and plant available. Microbial life begins to carry those minerals directly to roots. Instead of dumping raw minerals into the soil, fermentation hands them to biology, and biology feeds the plants. That's why, just 1 cup can make such a dramatic difference. Plants don't grow fast just because they're fed. They actually grow fast when limiting factors are removed. In many gardens, nitrogen isn't really the main problem. Mineral imbalance is. Potassium shortages, for example, slow metabolism, calcium deficiencies weaken cell walls, and trace mineral gaps can stall enzyme systems. Fermented ash fills those gaps instantly. You'll often see darker leaves within just a few days because potassium improves nutrient transport. You'll see faster vertical growth because calcium, it really strengthens those expanding tissues. And you'll see stronger flowering because mineral balance signals to plants that, conditions are right to reproduce. It's not magic, it's restored soil intelligence. The word forbidden isn't about danger, it's about disruption. First, fermented ash doesn't fit commercial fertilizer models. You can't easily bottle it, patent it, or sell it at scale. It uses waste materials and local inputs, which, removes dependency on store-bought solutions. Second, it requires understanding soil biology, not just feeding numbers. Modern agriculture prefers simplified inputs, NPK and precise ratios applied repeatedly. Fermented ash works with microbes, not around them. Third, misuse has given ash a bad reputation. Raw ash dumped carelessly can damage soil, so blanket warnings replaced nuanced knowledge. The baby was thrown out with the bathwater. And finally, ancient methods tend to disappear when they empower growers instead of industries. That's the real reason this trick stays quiet. This isn't complicated, but it does require intention. Okay, so, Start with clean wood ash. No treated wood, no plastics, no trash. Hardwood ash is ideal here. Let it cool and store it dry. Next, add about 1 cup of ash to a bucket of water. Rainwater is best, but honestly, any chlorine-free water works. Stir thoroughly. Then, add a handful of finished compost, forest soil, or leaf mold to introduce microbes. Cover loosely and let it ferment for several days to a week, giving it a good stir once a day. You'll notice a mild earthy smell, not rotten, not sharp. That's biology at work. So, strain if needed, and dilute before applying. This is a soil drench, not a foliar spray, just to be clear. Make sure to apply to the root zone, not directly on stems or leaves. Remember, less is more. Just 1 cup of ash per bucket can actually feed a surprising amount of soil. Fermented ash really shines in mineral-hungry crops. Fruit trees, tomatoes, peppers, squash, corn, and flowering plants respond especially well. It's also pretty powerful in depleted soils, raised beds, and heavily mulched systems. So, avoid using it in already high pH soils unless it's heavily diluted. Just observe your plants. They'll tell you pretty quickly whether they're happy or not. This really isn't a weekly fertilizer. Instead, think of it as a strategic mineral reset, something you use just a few times per season when growth stalls or, when flowering needs a little push. Fermented ash isn't just about growth speed. Honestly, it's about relearning how soil works. Healthy soil isn't fed, it's balanced. When minerals, microbes, moisture, and organic matter all align, plants just, explode with life. Fermented ash restores that balance in a way that synthetic inputs never can. This is actually why old gardens, old orchards, and old farms so often outperform new ones. They've, accumulated mineral memory over the years. With just 1 cup of fermented ash, you're rebuilding that memory, fast. This method isn't trendy, it isn't flashy, it doesn't come in a bag, but honestly, it works because it respects the soil instead of overriding it. That's really what Soilpower is all about, digging up forgotten knowledge, testing it honestly, and putting real power back into the hands of gardeners. If this article helped you see your soil differently, just imagine what the next one could unlock. Go ahead and subscribe to the Soilpower channel, share this with a fellow gardener, and help keep this knowledge alive. The soil remembers, even when the world forgets.